Good morning to everyone watching the bulletin. A new force have arrived in Secunda, and it's all digital. And with me is Suné van Ellewee, and we're going to talk to her about this. And good morning, Suné.
Good morning, Insia. How are you?
Oh, well, thanks, and yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I'm saying digital and so on, but people don't know what we are going to talk about. So your business is new here. And before we did anything, nobody knows what we are talking about. So what are we talking about? It's not just I'm talking to Suné van Ellewee. We're talking about something that people can look forward to in having here in Secunda.
Yes, that is true. You make it sound like I own a tech business. In some sort of way, yes. So this is definitely something new, something a lot of people don't really know about, and they don't know that this is possible.
That's why my introduction is that way. I want people to think and let us spill the beans. You are not a tech company.
Not at all.
All right. What are you?
I'm actually a newly established law firm. Basically based in Pretoria mostly, but having a service area in Secunda actually, because I'm a local.
I'm going to come back to the local just now, but I want to go back to the law firm and what we in our introduction. In your correspondence to me, you spoke about digital, and you're going to do this digital. I mean, if we think of a law firm, we think of books and we think of this shelves, and that's why we're sitting here in the Augusta Lounge in Graceland, because it's to emphasize that you can work from anywhere and everything that you do is digital. Explain that a little bit, because to me also, I think we want paperwork when we speak to lawyers, but it's not always necessary.
Yes, that's completely true. In establishing a digital law firm, mostly because it's the 21st century and I'm very young and tech savvy. So I think with that, I decided to establish a completely digital law firm with digital roots. It's completely paperless. We try and keep it as green as possible. So I want people to make contact with us while sitting on their couch or being at their home office, or with just a click of a button to be able to communicate with us and make sure that they actually have legal service representatives.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, because also a lot of times the problem with people seeking service is that they can't reach the lawyers and they can't get there. Now they can actually sit at home and you can have a meeting with them paperless. Yes,
that's true. With Zoom and with Microsoft Teams, that really opened a few doors for us to have consultations with people throughout the whole of South Africa without them even leaving their homes. So you can have a consultation with me in your pajamas if you'd like. So I think with
Let's hope not.
I think with that it really opened a lot of doors, and I don't people don't really understand that you do not ever have to meet me. You never have to meet face to face for you to be my client and for me to be your lawyer. So I think that's what people need to understand.
But it also takes away the fact that you need an office and you need to be in a place. So you can have a consultation here while you're in Pretoria, or the other way around as well.
Yes, that's true.
The thing that springs to mind now is, let's say I have a problem and I have proof or documentation that I need to send to you. Printed documentation, because if it's still on the computer, it's easy. I'll just email it to you. So what will happen in that case? I have a photograph maybe of something that I took, and somebody sent me a photograph. It's printed out. I have it with me, and I need to give it to you. So how are we going to get past that?
If it's very important documentation, I would prefer that I myself come through, pick up the documentation. We can meet face to face if that will make you feel comfortable. Don't have a problem with that. I will come to you if that's needed.
Okay, now I want to go back to, you said you are young and tech savvy. The reason I want to go back there is because people would think that if you are young, you don't know yet. I've seen a few things. You went to law school, you said. Now explain that to me, because that's something I don't understand. When you say law school, I would imagine law school would be the university, but it seems like it's something else. What is law school?
Yes, that is true. Usually in movies, you hear that people go to law school, Harvard Law School.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing in South Africa.
I take that.
You do 4 years of university, whichever university you choose. You can do law there for your 4 years, or sometimes it's extended to 6 years, depending on what you prefer to do. With that, you can directly go and work for 2 years, and they call it your article years, and then after that you are admitted as an attorney. You can shorten your 2 years of preferred work experience with doing 6 months of full-time law school.
Okay.
So with that, you substitute 1 year with a little bit more full-time reading and doing assignments and making sure you get all that knowledge within the shortest period of time.
If I understand it correctly, it's concentrated with a lot more guidance than work experience.
Yes, it's full day lectures for 6 months.
Okay. But also the other thing is you studied LLB, and then you got your master's in it. Then it's called LLM.
Yes, that's true.
So it's not just you're just another student that went through this. You put a lot of effort in. I actually read that you had your bar exams. You wrote 4 exams in 2 days.
Yes.
And you passed them.
Yes, passed them all.
Now that is something that is I hear it doesn't happen always, and mostly don't happen.
It's quite an intimidating. Thinking about the attorneys' exams, it sounds intimidating because they are. They are intimidating.
No.
It's 4 exams written in 2 days, and we traveled quite far because we wrote in Johannesburg. So in the morning, early morning, you write your first exam. It's about 30 hours per exam. And then in the afternoon from 2 o'clock, you write your second exam. You go home, you study, and you come back the next day. So all 4 exams, I studied for them. I written them all in those 2 days in August 2019. And luckily I passed them. So
the reason I'm asking this is because it means that a lot of effort goes into your work. And when I read through your CV as well, you said that you forfeited the one function that your end of year function or something because you thought studies were more important than the function.
Yes, during my 4 years, I really had a disciplined approach with regards to my studies because it came first. My parents paid for my studies, and then I can't let them down. So I did the 4 years, and my last year, I was really looking forward to my final year. It was called a dinner that we had, just to say goodbye to everyone, say this was nice and everything. But on the next day, I was writing intellectual property law. So I couldn't go to my final year dinner, and it was really sad actually because it was really something I was looking forward to. So my social life really suffered under it, but it was all worth it at the end of the day.
Then the services that you're going to render, I also read that you have done, you like the medical law.
Yes.
And malpractice law, I think.
Medical negligence.
Negligence, okay. But that's not what you're going to focus on, because as you've written, you have to have a little bit a broader, wider field than just that particular field. So what is the areas that you want to offer? Are you going to just be a general lawyer, or are you going to be a specific areas lawyer, if I can say that?
A specialist.
Specialist, that's the right words, yes.
I found a liking in medical law and medical negligence. It's one of my favorite branches of law. I've done a few courses in it, and my master's degree is also based on a branch of medical law. Okay. So I'm sort of really into that branch. But I think in this day and age, you have to do a little bit something of everything. You have to cover all your bases to make sure that you can assist your client in the best way possible. So for me, I do a little bit of everything. I do divorce and family law. I do estate planning. I do some estate administration as well. And then with that, I am a admitted notary as well, so I do notarial services like marital contracts and things like that. With that, I'm trying to incorporate some property transfers into the business as well, because everybody
Needs
has a
something
lot.
like that.
Yes, that's quite something.
I want to go back to the intellectual property exam that you wrote. I think a lot of people need that, but I think explain that, because most of us are not lawyers and we don't understand all these intellectual properties. In a nutshell, what is intellectual properties?
Intellectual property. It's actually something that can be more described as patents and trademarks. So it's something that you thought out by yourself.
Does copyright fall under it as well?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So with that, it's something that you brought to life. It's your brain baby in a way.
Now, I've led you into this question purely because we have a lot of photographers and we have a lot of people, creative people in this area. And there's been a number of times where people actually ask how to handle copyright and so on. So now you know where to go to for copyright and intellectual property.
Yes, that's true.
And we have most probably the highest concentration of engineers in the whole country. And I'm sure that every once in a while somebody has got some sort of pattern or some sort of idea. So if you want to, Suné is the right guy to go to, or right girl to go to. Let me say this correctly. In this day and age, we can't use that incorrectly. Okay, so she's the right person to go to. That's the correct wording.